which when you start off, you want to find where your nodes are, slice that baby. Here's what you got inside. Mark your reference line for where your stop's going to be, because the sound's going to come up over and across. Okay, so that's just an example. Here's one. Let's start it on. Now this one here, when you do that, you mark it, put a stop cut where you won't overcut out your material, and then you start taking material out. Like for this, I use a small gouge for the windpipe. It takes that out nicely, and then use a larger gouge for cleaning out this material. And this is a great straight cut for your stop angle. It'll hold the line really well, the curved knife will. Okay, let's take out a little more of this material and show you what's going on. Before I start taking out any more of this material, I did want to show one more thing. When you slice it, or before you slice it, as long as you know where your nodes are, you want to take your pocket knife or whittling knife, start rounding out the mouthpiece a little bit, and then you want to just take a little planer and smooth me a nice flat place, because you're going to have a wind block like this right here setting, and you need it to be perfectly flat. If you don't do that, you just want to take your gouge, start slow on these ends, then got a portion took out, clean, finger down and get it as thin as you want your flute. Making sure not to get your glue ends, because you need those to be just like they are when you slice them. I get one so far, get my other end. First, you're going to work this bottom to where you can see how your hole's coming along there. I like to follow that pith groove first, get it out. Then we'll continue this until I get both of these edges together. Okay, once you get the biggest part roughed out, you're going to put it together. See how you're looking on the end. So this piece here, more can come out right here. And what you want to do after you get the rough out is check for any high spots. See, there's a high spot. Clean that up, get her as balanced as you can. The more you get out of there, you want it to still be strong, but the more you can get out, the better your flute's going to sound. You want it as smooth as possible. And the top one's looking good, probably a little more out of the center. A little into this one that needs more out. We're getting there. I'll work on this a little more. Okay, so I've got some more out of here, and I always work from the end where you can see what's going on. See, we're starting to get her opened up now until I need just a little more out of here and a little off that top. Get to the very end first. Now we're talking. Get a little off this top end. It's best to work the end, that way you can tell how you're going to join up there, how much you want out of the rest of your flute. Take some out of the center, work up on both sides, center, work up on both sides. Now see what we got. So now I can go to and bring the rest of this down to here on both of these. So we'll be right down there with the end. I've got most of this out. Just want a small channel for your wind chamber. It's got a tough spot. Do the same with this one. Clean that baby out. Good. Up here. Make sure you got a good spot. Put this drill in there for a hole in the spitting edge hole. See what we got now. There's how we're looking, which is very nice. Here's how we're looking here. So now I'm just going to sand these inside that, cut it pretty smooth, but I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper and do some sanding next. Okay, here's what we have now. We got our two ends cut thin. Put them together. Here's what we're looking at. On this end, have that size blowhole. Okay, so now this is the top part of the flute. Right here is your stop block. So we want to drill down in this end, the blow end, down to where it will cross at an angle this stop block. Come out right in here. Then we'll have another hole here that will be the spitting edge, they call it. So it'll be a hole here, hole here. We'll put a little wind passage right there for the wind to go through. And then we'll just like our holes in the actual flute. And there's a couple things here. You want to be at least 4 inches down from your stop block, or it's not going to make good sound. And then you want to be at least 3 or 4 inches from the bottom of your flute. So I like mark them. I'll do 3, and then I'll do 2 or 3 according to how many whole flutes you want. And mark where your fingers feel good, and leave a gap in between these 3 and these 2 for the Native American type sounds. Okay, we'll get our drill bit. Okay, just about got the clean out process done here. Looking good. One thing I do want to point out, if there's any pith in here, you want to go ahead and take your little gouge and get that out, clean all that out, because it would want to come loose on you later. You want to get a real smooth, clean chamber there for the air to build up in. And like I said, I just take a small gouge, slight twisting motion. See, I've taken every bit of that out, and I'll just run a little sandpaper through that groove and this here. So I'll get that done. The pointing down on your gouge and rocking it when you're trying to hold a groove like that will do a real nice job. Just rock it, slight pressure. Little pith right there on the side. Go ahead and clean that up. That's what we're looking at. Got our stop piece right here. We'll be drilling through this on the top piece, which is this one. Go ahead and clean it out. Get us a real nice smooth wind chamber. That's the bottom. Here's the top. So I'm going to make this just a little bit deeper right here. Okay, looking good. Now I'll get my drill bit. Okay, here's what we got. So what we got to do is drill this angle right in here, and we want it to cross over the top of here. So I want to mark that. Just bring it on across. Got a shadow going on here. You just want to cross reference it up here to where you know about where you're at. Right there's where I'm going to have a line cross. That's some stop block right there. There, got it off. Okay, rearrange the light here. We won't have a shadow running across here. You can see a little better. And what I did, took this drill bit right here in the bow end, put a hole right through there, going right over this top edge. I'll turn it this way where you can see the hole. See that angle? And that way it comes across. Got a little mark here. There you can see it. And it comes across the stop piece. Right, now we're going to get ready to put us a groove down through here to our next hole, which is called the splitting edge, where the actual air goes across it to produce the sound. And I'll show you that angle for this file. See how it's going through there? Okay. And then I'll smooth this out eventually too. Next, I just want to take it, look down it in the center, come down about 1 inch, make my mark. Right there is where we'll drill for the splitting edge hole. And when I do this finger holes, we're taking, you want to be, as a rule of thumb, from the splitting edge about a hand down. Your fingers there, which will be just about 1 inch past where I got a flat spot here. And then I just go, whether it's a 6-finger flute or 5-finger. I just see how it feels good, and that's how I'm going to mark it. And you'll see that's about, the first hole will be about a hand up from the bottom. So I'll get my drill bit ready and drill those. Okay, so now you can see marked out my holes. Leaving that much on the end. And I did that by getting my 2 fingers here. We'll make a 5-finger flute since it's 19 inches. Most of the time I do them 21 inches. But that way I get 2 fingers that feel good, and it gives you a gap by putting your finger down. And then I'll mark those like that. And that's how I got my measurements on the fingering holes. So I'll go over to the drill press and do that with a 1/4 inch bit. Okay. After the drill press, here's what you got. A hole right here. This is going to be your wind channel right here. Alright, and here's the holes for the finger holes. Alright, so now it's a very important part. See up here we can see. We want to trace our wind channel from there to here. And this is going to be oblong. So, and this will be opened up a little. So I'm going to add just a little. Both sides. Right there, I'll take a V-groover now and groove these to have a stop cut. And you can either file it in here, or you can take a small cutting tool and cut it either one. I like to file it after I get my V-grooves cut. So that'll be the next step. Okay, before we cut out our wind slot here, we need to open this up. I use a round file, smooth up that angle and widen it oblong this enough to where we can start making a little rectangle right here. And I like to do it where I can use this file. So open that up to that point, and that's how we are here. So that'll be next. But first, on this underside here, you want to mark. We've got a V-groove here as a stop point, and take this file and start filing on an angle here. So I'll get on that next. Okay. What I did, here's the underside of this, our rectangular hole. That's called the splitting edge, where the air is going to go across there. So there's where I V-groove marked it. Took this file, get an angle. Right there, you can tell it's a little deeper at the hole and coming out towards your other sound holes. And up here, there you can see it. That's why I want to do it the size of this file. You can take your time and groove you a wind passage from there over to your splitting edge. So that's what you want to accomplish there. We've got us a smooth flowing angle coming in, and then we've got us a nice rectangular box shape here to catch the wind as it comes across it. Okay, so now just I'll sand the inside, clean up any of the holes, and I'll be ready to clamp her up. Glue it and clamp it. Okay, here's how it should look now after sanding the inside, the holes. Later I'll come along and burn these holes. I'm going to tune the flute. But right now, here's how she's supposed to look. making sure you got your angles on this right. Come in here on angle, right here. Square this one to give you a nice big area. Wind groove right there. So now I'll run a bead of glue around both these sides and across, a bead across the center block there. Should go together just like that. Alright, now glue her up and they're set on that. Gluing it up last night. Clamp it however you can. I always like to start out with a couple rubber bands. It kind of centers it for you. Oh, you can tell that's going to be a sweetie. Okay, so we've got her gutted out, our wind slot. We're going to be making a totem or a bird for the top of, to go across this flat spot, and that will be our wind piece. And then we can check and see if there's any tweaking to do on the inside of our splitting edge here. So now it's time to get the pocket knife out. Some flutes I leave the bark on. You can make a pattern in the bark. Just whatever you want to do on these. I do a bunch of burnt designs on some of them, carve some of them. So get the extra glue off there. You kind of hide your seam a little when you do your final cut and sand there. These are fun to make. Not a bunch of power tools going, anything like that. Anyway, I'll carve away on this baby for a few, and we'll see what we got. Okay, I've got her down to this far. You don't want to be making big old long strokes at this point because you've got her pretty thin and you don't want to go too deep, making bad moves here. So I'm just going to show you this flat piece up here where we took the planer and flattened us a flat spot. Now you can take that out as you're rounding your mouthpiece into your flute. You can make certain cuts that'll hide some of the joint there. Rounded, short strokes is good here. So you don't want to go too deep. So those short cuts kind of give you a multifaceted area there also, and you're not getting wild with it. You don't want to cut your flat spot here. You want to keep an eye on that. And you can get to a point and scrape. But I kind of like the facet look and takes everything off nice. So that's how we want to go around that. You keep rounding up here, but you want to leave enough for your wind block, however long you want it to be. We'll make that next. Some people burn. I do a lot of them. I'll burn the holes, and that slicks everything up. But right now we'll finish getting her cleaned up here, and we'll get right back to it. Steady as she goes, mate. You don't want to scarf the hole. It's nice where your fingers can lay in there. Sometimes you can groove them down a little if you like. Like I say, some barks I leave on for a certain look, but I like on these kind just to take them back to the wood. It sounds a little better too. Here's the gap I was telling you about on the Native American style flutes. You want that gap. But yeah, take it easy around them. And then where a bird's going to set up here, it only beat it right here. So any of this you want to round on off, you can. At this point. Okay, as you can see, we've got her cleaned up pretty good. So any of this back here can be rounded on down where we cleaned our flat spot. And on the ends, I want to show you just, you need your knife just like a razor, and just nibble around the ends here, right across the grain. You get a real nice look on it. You can sand these, you can leave the knife marks. It's all up to you. And here's where you hide your seam. Do some good cross cuts. Clean up on another seam there, see? Cross cut it. And we'll sand this out, even all that up, and we'll be ready to make our wind piece. Okay, coming out some different wind blocks here. Some you can put a chimney in them, or some you can just run straight. So I just roughed one out here. Still got a sand. Okay. It's painted, tied it on with a little Latigo lace. Turned out pretty nice. I didn't burn this one because I'm going to dress it with some sinew and some leather, decorate it with some beads. I use an instrument grade lacquer on the flutes. Here it is after I put some beads on it, a little sinew and leather.